Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, suspended CBN Governor Emefiele arrives courts for trial, and later on the show, TUC gives federal government 2 weeks to conclude negotiations over subsidy. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mojit Jamiu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. It appears the fight against insecurity is receiving the needed boost required. Troops of Sector 1 of Operation Hadarin Daji, in conjunction with the forward operating base, Wanke, carried out an ambush operation along the routes used by bandits. The troops neutralized 7 bandits in the operation. Jire, please give us more insight into the story.
You see, there is no doubt that Zamfara is the headquarters of banditry in our country.
Zamfara, not Niger?
No, not Niger. Certainly not Niger. There are far more bandit groups in Zamfara than any other place in this country. And the most notorious, even the ones in Niger, they are moving from, because the forests connect one another. The forests of the old northwestern states, which includes Kebbi, Sokoto, Niger, they link one another. So they are able to, while riding their motorbikes, link those forests and move from place to place. That's why you have a situation in which people, students were kidnapped in Katsina and they were released in a town called Safe in Zamfara State. Those GSS boys. So look at even the girls that were kidnapped in Rinin Yauri. They ended up somewhere in Niger. So those forests, and look at the distance. Although the local government actually shares boundary with the local government from the Niger State. Actually shares boundary with Kebbi State. So the point is they move from point to point. Now, some local governments that we thought were even safe, because I was in Zamfara in August last year, I went to Anka. Today, Anka has become a no-go area. In fact, on Sunday, the people of Anka blocked roads. They were burning Fulani houses, accusing the Fulani of harboring bandits who are now kidnapping people on the highway in their communities. That's a place that I went to in August. It was relatively safe at that time. Today, Anka in Zamfara State, the problem has assumed a new dimension. Now, other places, other local governments like Shinkafi, where Truji comes from, banditry is rampant. There is no doubt that Zamfara is the epicenter of banditry. In fact, someone was telling me that if you solve the problem of banditry in Zamfara, you solved it in the whole of the Northwest and parts of North Central, because they move from Zamfara to other places. When the governor of Katsina gave amnesty twice to bandits in Katsina, it was because Zamfara did not give amnesty at that time that it failed. Because they will now cross into,
in conjunction with,
if they are done at the same time, perhaps will have worked. They will move from their own, but Atawale was not even in government then. They will move from their own place into Katsina and still continue to kill people. So the banditry failed, the amnesty failed because Zamfara did not do it the same time with Katsina. So Zamfara is the problem. And now, when we record any form of breakthrough like this, we've got to be happy, because what we want to see is continuous attacks on these people, deny them the privilege of moving from point to point. Up to now, we are talking about people like Dankremi, people like Truji, Nobody has killed them. When you hear that, oh, they killed, those boys who are their leaders, when are you going to deal decisively with them? People know where, they know even where their camps are.
Mojid, I'm sure it's not going to be business as usual for this, the approach to these bandits. This administration is going to, take a different stand and far reaching way of, just getting over the banditry with.
You could see the chief of army staff, I read Lagbaja, what he did with the troops. I mean, I saw it on the program yesterday. I've never seen that kind of stuff before. That is so morale boosting. I mean, that kind of thing, they feel that, yes, this man is this. So they are going out there with a renewed vigor that, yes, this is one of us. I was like, may God help any of those guys who will stop the press-ups that the chief of army staff was doing with them when he visited them. And you could see, so they are so happy now, they feel motivated. So that's why we'll see more of these conquests going forward. But then they need to be more strategic, especially like DJ said, Zamfara is like like a hotspot now for banditry. And why this is so is because of the massive gold reserves in that place. So a lot of activities, illegal mining activities. And I mean, you don't just do illegal mining activity without getting yourself fortified. So a lot of things are happening there. I mean, there are some things that we cannot talk about on television. The kind of activities, illegal activities happening in Zamfara. So it's like they are operating on a different level from the rest of the country. So we need a situation where all the military, all the security operatives should design a specific architecture to combat what is happening in Zamfara. Daji is still at large, recall. He's been declared wanted for God knows when, and a ransom put on his head. When I'm sure that if it could be nailed, I mean, it will reduce that boundary. I'm not saying it's something that could be totally eliminated, but we can reduce it to a barest minimum. I'm happy now that all in the past when these bandits and terrorists used to overrun military formations, I mean, are stopped with massive air power and support from ground troops. We are making progress, but we are not yet there.
All right. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo